Hi! Good morning everyone. My name is Sir Rolly S. Kakam from Kaba National High School, currently teaching grade 9, grade 10, and senior high students. Welcome back to quarter 3 of school year 2020 to 2021. This video lesson is intended for grade 9 students. I hope everyone is safe and everyone is okay in spite of the pandemic that we are all going through. Are you excited for our lesson? Because I am excited to teach you today. But first, we need to prepare the materials that you need for our lesson. What are those? You need a paper, pen or pencil, of course, your module, which is module number 1, quarter 3. Or your cell phone in case you need to research something in the internet. I am going to give you 3 minutes to bring out all the materials. If your materials are ready, we can start our lesson. But wait, in everything that you do, do not ever forget to pray. That is why we will have this moment of silence in order for us to ask the guidance of our dear Lord. Okay, now that we have finished praying and you have your materials ready, we can begin our lesson. Do not forget to check your weekly home learning plan. I am going to flash it on this side of the screen. Quick tip, students. Your weekly home learning plan, or WHLP, is actually very important. Why? Number 1, it helps you learn the lessons on your module, and number 2, it guides you in answering the expected outputs from the module. Are you ready? Let's go! Let us officially start learning. Module 1, quarter 3, differentiating biases from prejudices. Now, I am going to show you 3 pictures, and I want you to look at them very carefully and analyze and answer the following questions. What can you see? Did you see anything wrong with these pictures? And what can you say? Do you feel comfortable while looking at these pictures? Ready? Picture number 1. Picture number 2. Picture number 3. After looking at the pictures, we are going to analyze them and learn about them one by one. The first picture is a 1939 sign in a German-occupied Poland, which means no entrance for Poles. It means if you are from Poland or if you are Polish, you cannot go inside a restaurant, a school, anywhere. Picture number 2. An African-American man drinks from a designated colored water fountain in Oklahoma in 1939. What do we mean when we say colored? It means your skin is black. You are a Negro. It means you cannot drink anywhere. There is a designated place for you to drink your water. The last picture shows members of the Westboro Baptist Church engaging in discrimination based on religious and sexual orientation. The picture shows members of the Westboro Baptist Church outside the streets rallying with their protest signs because they believe that a certain religion should be followed by people, because they believe that a certain sexual orientation should be followed. After looking at the pictures, do you now have an idea about the definition of bias, prejudice, and discrimination? I know that a lot of questions are going through your mind, but don't worry, we are going to know their definition one by one for you to have a clearer picture and understanding about the terms. It sounds difficult. We will know the definition of each term. 1. Bias. What is a bias? Bias is an inclination toward or away from one way of thinking, often based on how you were raised. 2. Prejudice. What is a prejudice? Prejudice refers to a preconceived opinion or feeling toward a person based solely on their affiliation with a group. 3. Discrimination. What is discrimination? Discrimination comes into play when one starts acting upon a prejudice they possess regarding a certain group of people. Now that we have learned the definition of each word, we are going to use them in different examples. 1. I choose dinakdakan over pulpog any day. Do you think it's a bias, prejudice, or discrimination? 2. I think dancing is the best form of medicine. Three, deaf-mute people can order in some restaurants. Do you think it's a bias, prejudice, or discrimination? Now, do you understand the difference between bias, prejudice, and discrimination? If you still don't understand, let's go back to the example. I'd choose dinakdakan over pulpog any day. Notice that in the sentence, there are two examples, dinakdakan and pulpog. Bias is when you want something over the other. Bias is when you like something over another. There is preference. Meanwhile, prejudice is a negative thinking toward someone, something, or a group of people. And lastly, discrimination is any action that you do because of negative thinking. It is the enactment of a negative thought. That's the difference. I hope you understand our lesson now. That's why the next part of our activity is another exercise for you to know the difference between bias, prejudice, and discrimination. Are you ready? I want you to grab any piece of paper that you have right now with you, and then write numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am going to read and give you 5 sentences, and then you have to determine whether they are bias, prejudice, or discrimination. Are you ready? Sentence number 1. I'd listen to Agsunta over December Avenue. Write your answer in the space provided for number 1. Second, I believe small people can't be trusted. Do you think that's a bias, prejudice, or discrimination? 3. Students with special disabilities cannot study here. Four, vanilla is more delicious than chocolate. And number 5, limps shouldn't be allowed to play football. Do you think that's a bias, prejudice, or discrimination? Write your answers in number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are going to check them after 1 minute. Now, it's time to check the exercises that we made earlier. Grab any red ball pen that you have at home. Number 1. I'd listened to Agsunta over December Avenue. What do you think is the answer? The answer for number 1 is bias. Next, number 2. I believe small people can't be trusted. The correct answer is prejudice. 3. Students with special disabilities cannot study here. What do you think is the answer? The answer is discrimination. 4. Vanilla is more delicious than chocolate. I think it's very easy. The answer is bias. And lastly, number 5. Limps shouldn't be allowed to play football. The answer is discrimination. But wait, there's more. We're not done yet because I want you to grab your answer sheet that we have provided. If you don't have it with you, it looks like this. I am going to flash it on the screen. For your answer sheet, there are 3 tasks. For task 1, you have to define the following terms: bias, prejudice, and discrimination. For task 2, you have to put B if the sentence is bias, P for prejudice, and D if it's a discrimination. Lastly, for task 3, you have to write your own sentence of a bias, prejudice, or discrimination. You can use any example, anything that you like, but what matters is it is your own idea. And lastly, we have explore. If you don't know where Explore is, it is located on page 10 of your module. You can open it and find Explore there. Do you find the activities on your answer sheet difficult? If you do, do not worry because you have your module to guide you in answering. And don't forget, you are expected to give back or submit your answer sheet on April 5, 2020. Lastly, I would like to end my lesson by saying that bias, prejudice, and discrimination should never be done or encouraged. The world in itself is a cruel world. What we need is to spread care, kindness, and love for yourself and for everyone. Also, let me remind you that whatever your skin color, whoever you are, or wherever you're from, you have a right to be in this world. You have a chance to be happy with your family, friends. You have the right to exist, to live a life for yourself and for others. I would like to thank everyone, especially my students, for listening and watching this video. Again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to call me or send me a message via Facebook or through my personal number, which I am going to put in the description box. If you have a hard time understanding the lesson or watching this video, do not worry because I have printed out the module, the WHLP, and your answer sheet here at school. You can ask your parents or guardian to come and get them for you. Lastly, after you finish answering your answer sheet, your homework is to research about different figures of speech. Again, I would like to thank everyone who watched and listened to my video. If you have any comments, suggestions, or questions, do not hesitate to call me. This is Sir Rolly S. Kakam, a teacher from Caba National High School, saying goodbye, thank you, and good luck, kids. Do not forget, you and me, together we can. Thank you so much for watching and see you in our next lesson. Bye!